So, the victim's movements, Ginas Aussage. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they are told.
Hold it!
So, you follow orders. You follow orders, do you, Gina? Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Oh. The boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby a scrub, that kind of thing. So errands, more than orders then. This detective is still an apprentice after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first. But a little start of the boss office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. Oh, whoops, da wollte ich pressen.
Hold it!
So you went through Inspector Gregson's things. Yep, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Cause if anyone at the yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. We found it hidden in one of his desk drawers that had a false bottom. Okay, also einen falschen Boden. That's impressive. So then I went to hide myself where no one could find me, so I could have a butcher's at what was written in it. Cause if anyone at the yard had found me out, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. I've given it in now though, ain't I? And if it weren't for me, it would never have been found. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealing that day. Okay, aber wir haben es noch nicht drin in unserer Beweissammlung. The boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day.
Hold it!
Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep, it was all there in the boss notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could too. I've got this reading game buttoned up now. Das ist doch eine schöne Charakterentwicklung von Gina. Von der Weise, die bildungsfern war, zur Leserin. Can I show you what I can do? Go on, what's the arm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? Insist. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Kazuma. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then. I get to show off me reading skills. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called The Grouse. Was heißt Grouse? Der Graus? Ei der Daus. Was ein Graus. Graus. Raufußhund oder Moorhuhn? Das sind aber zwei verschiedene Tiere. Klage, Moserei, Rausfußhühner. Roasted Grouse, gebratenes Moorhuhn, okay. Also Moorhuhn.
Hold it!
The Grouse. What sort of a club is that? I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kinda curious. They are not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? I tell ya what, me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover. Could you though? I could pick out a few marks and see what else I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower ranking detective. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet.
Hold it!
So how had Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't VP inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself. Cause, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on in the club. No question. You can't say that for certain though, surely. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too.
Hold it!
Lord Van Zieks was at the club. He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it, okay. Okay, detectives visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room and questioned as a guest. It looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Zieks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook, which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. None have been identified at this time, no. So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Oi! Why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade here, eh? So that's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? Okay. When Zeke was at the club. Detectives who visited the club yesterday have confirmed it. Okay. There's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Zeke was investigating. He'd already discovered the Inspector's snowpoke, which led him to the club. Okay, also man konnte Van Zieks identifizieren, aber nicht Gregson. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? I really don't know what to make of all of this. Lord Van Zieks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the Inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Van Zieks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh! If everything Lord Van Zieks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean, there are details we've yet to uncover? Exactly. A clue perhaps that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. Okay. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they are told. A little search of the boss office turned up the notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman club called The Grouse. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place too. Okay. Ich habe das Gefühl, dass wir vielleicht mal den Koffer von Gregson inspizieren sollen. Hier das Schloss. Let's have a look inside. Oh lol. Okay. Was ist das? Look, there's something inside. Oh, let's see. It appears to be a passport, authorizing him to travel overseas. Wasn't Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then? Perhaps the date of departure might tell us something. That was... Oh! What is it? It was for travel on 31st October, just one day before the incident. What? Really? The passport has been entered into the court record. A passport document that was in Inspector Gregson's possession. It was issued for travel to France the day before his body was discovered. Okay. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered. Did he though, weil seine Tasche ja noch da ist. Und was ist das hier? Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged. Whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. Und hier ist Blut. Look at this dark stain here. Do you think... Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. I knew you were going to say that, so that presumably means that this was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. To think Gina's been carrying this around with her. If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. Naja, da muss man aber schon viel Fantasie für haben. Okay. Wir haben diesen Passport, der zeigt, dass er nach Frankreich wollte. Was a big job and covers went onto it here. The little search of the boss office and other notebook, there's a lot of secrets. It was a big job and all, but the covers went onto it yet. What matters most is as witnesses who saw the Reapers at the place. What most is. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet.
Hold it!
Oh, whoops. So that come to find out about in that case. That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself, because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. Well, it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on in the club, no question. You can't say it for certain though, surely. What matters most is there's witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place too.
Hold it!
Lord Van Ziek was at the club. He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. Warum wollte er an den Namen von dem Club geheim halten, wenn da schon Detektive waren, die da Aussagen aufgenommen haben? Das macht ja irgendwie nicht so viel Sinn. It looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Ziek was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook, which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. None have been identified at this time, no. So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Oh, why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade here, eh? Okay. And there's not her with the eyes could stare off her, is she? A clue. A clue perhaps that even Gina hasn't noticed. What are you looking for here? Yeah, I guess der Passport, aber wo? I'm supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. When little start at the boss office turn up, I know to get a load of secret meetings in it. Apparently, Skull Grouse. Okay. The Grouse. Hä? Aber er war doch er war doch nach Dings, oder nicht? Auf dem Weg nach Dings. Passport document was Inspector Gregson's possession. It was issued for travel to France the day before. Aber wo sollen wir es präsentieren? Oh lol, ihr könnt doch noch lesen. Name Tobias Gregson. Passport number ACD 0522 or 0522. Day of departure within 1 week from 31st October. Destination Port of Dunkirk, France. Purpose of travel, police business. Notes, permission to the applicant and one additional person to travel. Okay. Okay. Passport. Dismissal note. Letter of introduction. Clint's autopsy report. Haben wir was übersehen im Trunk vielleicht? Let's have a look inside. Ne, hier ist nur das Ding drin. Oder was ist das hier? Do you see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk here. It's glinting. It looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. But it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself. You better leave it, I think. Okay. Identification. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. The Scotland Yard indignation looked genuine to me, and the department and identification number details are all correct as well. There's no doubt that this really is Inspector Gregson's identification. Okay. The Azogi Papers. Okay, das wird später relevant, denke ich mal. Iris Lucky Charm. Dismissal notes. Letter of introduction. Was war das, hä? Was war das nochmal? Professor Mikutoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me or does it make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he'd at least called you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. Okay, also er hatte das Das hat er uns ja gegeben, damit wir mit dem Gefängnisdirektor, der ein bisschen racist war, oder ablehnend gegenüber Japanern, also schon racist, der nicht mit uns sprechen wollte. Okay, und was ist das hier? Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse. Nee, oder? First Class Cabin 001. Yokohama departure 11th September. London arrival 1st November. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. To think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Warrior. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was it coming accompanied by a little sigh? The details of the letter of introduction have been updated in the court record. It's written on the back of a ticket for a special passage on a steamship. Und das hieß... hier... Grouse oder Grouse. Okay, the Grouse. Hä?
Objection!
I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they are places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Weil er ja selber ein ausländischer Student ist. Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening in the club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean, that's a place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on 31st October. It may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? Ein steamship. A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here! Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Ah, the other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. Ah, this would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st November. Ah! The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on 31st October. Der Passport, oder nicht? What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Date 31st October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order! Order! This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover. It docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? Was das wohl gewesen ist. I am impressed, Rionosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? Okay. The prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations, and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Azogi? A courtroom is a film for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson, who secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question, was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. Aber wen? Wer ist nach Frankreich abgehauen? The Reaper. Order! Order! What on earth are you saying, Counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine. By the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was in fact acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was obviously an assassination. Aber naja gut, Giselle Brett ist tot. Aber Giselle Brett hat vorher ja die Aufträge ausgeführt quasi. Musste Gregson das dann selber machen? Also quasi eine Assassination. Baroque van Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson. What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as a Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Baroque van Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Shigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. Eh? What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigation at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Baby. You're lying! Even if all them bloodshot what got taken out had it coming. The boss weren't the Reaper. Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you've spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Okay.